When you're standing over a crowded PCB and you're not quite sure if the soldering iron you're holding will give you the heat you need without scorching nearby pads, that hesitation can make the whole repair feel like a gamble. I've been in that spot enough times to know how easy it is to waste an afternoon because the tool you trusted didn't behave the way you expected. That's why I wanted to sit down and walk through the Metcal MX5211 soldering and rework system the way a buyer actually thinks about it: real-world usage, the hidden trade-offs, and whether the price tag really matches the value you'll get in day-to-day work. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the core idea behind this system: 2 handpieces that pull from a single 80-watt power supply. On paper, that sounds like you've got double the flexibility without double the bulk. In practice, the way you'll use that flexibility depends on the kind of jobs you do. If you're a field service technician who jumps between board-level repairs and occasional chassis soldering, having a lightweight handpiece for the quick touch-ups and a more robust one for the heavy rework tasks can be a genuine time-saver. You simply swap the tip, keep the same power source, and you're ready to move on. The fact that Metcal's microprocessor-controlled supply can dynamically allocate the 80 watts between the two tools means you won't be stuck with a hardwired limit that forces you to choose one tool over the other. That dynamic sharing is a double-edged sword, though. When you're pulling the maximum heat on a single handpiece, say you're working on a large copper pour or a high-thermalmass component, the system can comfortably deliver the full 80 watts. But if you try to run both handpieces at their top settings at the same time, the total available power gets split, and you'll notice a dip in the recovery time between solder joints. For most hobbyists, that scenario never comes up because they rarely need 2 irons at full blast simultaneously. For a professional rework station where you might be heating a component on one hand while cleaning up a neighboring pad with the other, you'll want to plan the workflow so you're not constantly fighting for power. SmartHeat technology is another headline that Metcal likes to brag about, and it's worth unpacking. The system continuously monitors the temperature at the tip and adjusts the output to keep it within a tight band. In real life, that translates to fewer wait for the iron to catch up moments you see with cheaper, open-loop irons. When you're working on a dense BGA package, the ability to maintain a steady temperature while you move the tip across the array can be the difference between a clean reflow and a lifted pad. I've seen that level of control reduce the number of retries on delicate components by a noticeable margin, which adds up to both time saved and less stress on the board. Ergonomics often gets a passing comment in spec sheets, but when you spend hours holding a tool, the weight and balance matter. Metcal's handpieces are deliberately lightweight, and the grip is contoured to reduce hand fatigue. I tried the system on a series of back-to-back repair sessions that lasted about 4 hours each, and the hand didn't start throbbing the way it does with some bulkier irons. That's not just a comfort perk, it's a productivity factor. When you're not constantly adjusting your posture or taking micro breaks, you can finish more units in less time, which is a tangible ROI for a shop that bills by the hour. Now, who should actually consider buying the MX5211? If you're a professional electronics repair technician, a small batch manufacturer, or an advanced hobbyist who regularly tackles fine-pitch SMD work, the combination of 2 interchangeable handpieces, precise temperature control, and a single, well-engineered power supply is a solid match. The system shines when you need to switch quickly between a fine tip for BGA rework and a larger chisel tip for connector soldering, without having to juggle multiple power bricks or worry about mismatched temperature curves. On the other hand, if your soldering needs are occasional, like fixing a loose wire on a hobby board once a month, or you're just starting out and your budget is tight, the MX5211 may feel like overkill. The upfront cost is significantly higher than a standalone 60-watt soldering iron, and the dual handpiece capability won't be fully utilized unless you have a workflow that actually demands it. In those cases, a quality single handpiece system or even a high-end but simpler iron could give you the performance you need without the extra expense. Let's address a practical concern that pops up for many buyers: reliability and service. Metcal has a reputation for solid engineering, and the microprocessor-controlled supply is less prone to the drift you sometimes see in analog units after months of use. However, because the system is fairly sophisticated, if something does go wrong, say a firmware glitch or a faulty sensor, you'll likely need to go through Metcal support channels.